Well, I think that the value of Wikipedia for me when I am doing historic research is a good starting place for things I don't know anything about. And when I began to do research for my second book, which was Marcus Daly's Road to Montana, I had to learn about the geology of the Boulder Batholith. I had to figure out who was George Hurst Lloyd Tevis, what was already known about Marcus Daly, which turned out to be surprisingly little, and that's why I wound up writing a biography. And so I had to discover who his colleagues were, people like James Ben Ali Hagan, who were the people that were major players in Montana politics at that time. Where did the newspapers come from? How did people get to the West? And so you find that you start looking for one topic and you're going down one rabbit hole after another. And ultimately, what you discover is how interconnected everybody is. And you find that these major historical figures were connected to one another, and so are we. We talk about things like 6 degrees of separation. Well, you find that certain things that happened 100 years ago, 150 years ago, are still coming around today, and they're not repeating and they're not echoing. They're here. They're still here. They're continuing. Those threads have never been broken. And so, one of the things I really do think that Wikipedia does is it helps once again join us all together and see how we are connected. Um, whether we look at how our blood vessels within our bodies connect us together, how our brain cells connect everything together, but we as human beings are similarly connected in this gigantic web that they called it the World Wide Web for a reason. And I think Wikipedia is one of the best parts of the entire internet because we still have humans out there in a very messy, sometimes chaotic, sometimes completely disorganized world, bringing us together. And so when we meet like real human beings in conferences and at meetups and editathons, we're rediscovering one another. And when you meet people and you talk to people and you work together on a project or on an idea, you can't, you can't hate each other anymore once you've communicated. And what I love about Wikipedia is that with the goal of writing with a neutral point of view, with identifiable sources that can be verified, you can go and look to things. In the course of writing, of myself becoming my own original source, and then I put something out that other Wikipedians might want to use in the future. But in doing that, it's very circular that we come together. I would look at a source on a fact in Wikipedia. I would look at the footnote, and I'd say, "There's a book," and then I would think, "That's another book I have to buy." Or I would say, "Oh my gosh, this book is in the Internet Archive. It's available for free, or I can get it in my library. It's available through interlibrary loan." But I can discover resources I never knew existed. And I think that's the other piece. Nobody realizes what a wonderful gold mine Wikipedia contains in the citations and how important that verifiability is, because that's where we go in new directions. That's where we find new things. And so that's why I began editing Wikipedia, because I loved horses. And then I learned even more than I ever thought I'd ever need to know. The best way to learn about a topic is to try and explain it to someone else. And from there, I led my research to the history behind the people. And then what did they do? How did they become interested in a horse topic? Or how did they make the money, the large fortune to afford their horses? What motivated them? And you always keep looking for what's the story behind these people. And if you edit from a neutral point of view with the goal of, let's just find it, you don't have to have polemic, and you don't have to have any kind of a bias, because that person's story will tell itself. And you think about how all of us want to be understood. All of us would like an accurate I hope all of us want an accurate understanding of who we are. And I think it's our responsibility with history, at least, and even with current events. I think that's a responsibility to let the story tell itself and just try to get it right, try to get it accurate. I think it's the most important thing we do.